Hey everyone. I've got Andrew Sparks here today. So Andrew is a coach that works with mindset and overcoming limiting beliefs and things like that. So I'll get him to introduce himself a bit more, and then we'll ask a few questions. So Andrew, what is it that you do, and what do you kind of help people with mainly?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things that I do. I guess the first one, I'd classify myself as a peak performance coach. So the objective is to get people to get the best out of themselves. There's two different ways I go about that. I work with people in CEO positions and so forth, senior level management within business. I also work with people in sports, so I help them get to the top and overcome any limitations that are holding them back. Another thing that I do, which is probably more so my passion now, is to really help everyday individuals, people that just want more out of themselves that haven't reached that top level yet, and I help them overcome any boundaries that they have, any limitations or beliefs that are holding them back. Um, Also share strategies with them to help them get better performance out of themselves, mindset strategies, belief systems, and yeah, so it's a fantastic job. It's great to be able to help lots of people.
Yeah, awesome, cool. Um, So you said about limiting beliefs there. What would you say are like the top limiting beliefs that you come across from people?
It's different for every person. I guess the main ones. There's a lot of people that have beliefs around themselves. I guess that they're not good enough or they don't deserve it. They'd be the more sort of generalized, if I can call it generalized. They'd be the more generalized ones. I'm too young. I'm too old. I don't deserve good things. Those are the sorts of top ones that we see. And just to sort of frame as well, it doesn't matter where anybody is in their life. Even
Mm,
people at the top end of town have these exact same beliefs that are holding them back.
yeah,
Professional sports people, people in business, making, multi-millions of dollars every single year, they have these exact same challenges.
yeah,
So we need to help them overcome those.
yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah, it's a funny thing, really. You think that people that are ahead of you, or I guess in your own head that are ahead of you in whatever area, they're going to have all their shit sorted. Basically, they're going to be fine. But like you said, everyone comes across these kinds of things at some stage in their life. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. And it's not just some stage, especially when people are growing. I think
yeah,
personally, it's a sign of growth. If I'm comfortable and relaxed where I'm at emotionally in my life, then that's I'm not growing and I'm not pushing on any boundaries.
mm,
Like if the room you're sitting in right now and everybody watching the room that everyone sits in, if that's our comfort zone, then everything outside that comfort zone is discomfort. It's
yeah,
uncomfortable, and that's where our boundaries are. That's where our limiting beliefs are. And quite often, I describe them as the sort of glass ceilings, right? We've got these glass ceilings that are there. They're not real. You can't see them. For anybody else to be taking that action or, doing that behavior would be perfectly normal. But for us, we make a decision that we can't do it. So, um,
mm,
yeah, so it really doesn't matter who the individual is or what level they're at. We all have, everyone in the world has the same, um, limitations.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So I guess where do you think? I know it's going to be different for each person, but where do you think these beliefs come from? How do you figure out for people where they come from?
Yeah, look, everything that's happened in our life comes back to, we make a belief out of something that's happened. We make a decision about something that's happened in our lives. And I'll just sort of expand on what I was saying a minute ago. We all have these limiting beliefs in our lives, but if they only really show up or affect us in the areas where we want to be better. So, some people don't have beliefs that they can't do something in a particular area, so they don't unconsciously believe that they can't do it. They just go and take the action, and therefore they can do it. Just um, to sort of highlight, um, where. Sorry, what was your question? Where do these show up?
Where no, where do they come? Like, how do you
Oh,
figure
where
out
they
where
come.
they came from?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they come from all our past experiences.
Yeah.
You know, they could have been, you know, one of my clients, very successful guy in business. Um, he came in and he literally dropped an ice cream in the school ground when he was a kid and made a decision about himself and the world, which was holding him back massively in business. You know, so 6 years old, he was 30 something. That was a few years ago now. These tiny little things that we don't think and shouldn't have any effect on us, they hold such a core. You know, we attach such a meaning to such a small thing that really has no meaning. That's where they come from. You know, environment, the people we spend time with, our parents. You know, we learn things sort of through osmosis. We learn things as kids growing up, watching our parents do particular things, how they relate to each other, how they relate to other people, how they relate to us. You know, and they say between the ages of 3 and 7, but more or less between 0 and 7 is called the imprint period. So between those years, that's essentially where we learn all our values, beliefs, decisions about the world, rules about ourselves and other people, how to relate, all those sorts of things. So that's a really foundational period, and great for parents to know as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think I had someone ask the other day, actually, you might be able to answer this. I've done a lot of personal development for myself over the last like 4.5 years, so I understand this. But for those who don't understand, where someone asked me unless something, a kind of situation happens in your life to bring something up, how can you find out these things, these limiting beliefs that are kind of subconsciously going on without an exact kind of event happening to bring it up?
Yeah, look, it's not. I would say, if you don't know about them and you don't feel like you're being held back, then you've got nothing to worry about. I think if you're trying to get ahead, if you're trying to grow a business, if you're trying to be better in your health and fitness, and you're feeling some sort of resistance, then then you should definitely do something about it. Or if you become aware of it, then you absolutely should clear that, because that's holding you back in your potential and your ability to achieve your goals in life. I don't go searching for things with clients, outside of what we're trying to achieve. It's not about creating people who are perfect, because that's, it's a completely unrealistic expectation that we don't have any of these limitations. If somebody comes to me and they says, well, I'm trying to do this but I can't, then I'll find out what that is so they can go and take that action. But you definitely don't really want to go fishing for particular things. And the person that asked that, perhaps they're trying to be perfect in every way, and they need to realize that, hey, none of us are perfect. And,
she is a bit of a control freak, actually. So
there you go. So.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, and that's really good that you mentioned that, actually, because I know I've done with my clients, and I've done it for myself, the Wheel of Life activity a number of times. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it's basically a circle where you say where you're at in different areas of your life. And so I think when you're looking at all those different areas, you're thinking, oh shit, like it's a bit overwhelming. Like I've got heaps of stuff that I've got to get done, where it's important to focus on like one or two key areas. And I know you talk about that a lot, actually. So I guess why do you think it's important to focus on just one or two key areas at a time?
Yeah, look, I think when people are growing, you want to make sure that they're not trying to do too many things at once. If you want to be great at something, if you look at, say, an Olympic swimmer, for example, they're not playing water polo and diving and doing all these other sports. They're focusing all their time and energy into getting great at one thing. If people are growing a business, then it takes some time and energy to get that set up and running. Doesn't mean that down the line there can't be more balance, but if people are trying to grow in any area, they need to put the time and energy in to get great to really achieve excellence in what they do and get to the level where they want to, then,
Yeah.
it's okay to do other things. But trying to juggle 5 or 6 different things at once and be great in all those areas, once again, you're just going to set yourself up for overwhelm, and it'll be an unrealistic expectation. So I usually say, I know a few years ago, I said you can go full blast at 3 different things at once. I'm not sure I'd go to that extent anymore. I'd probably say, 1 or 2 things.
Yeah.
While, my values, personally, my values, my mission or my business is doing this work and helping people, my relationships and my health and fitness. So they're the 3 most important areas for me. If I've got a race coming up, then I'll go spend a bit more time training. If I've got a big business meeting or a program coming up, then I'll put a little bit more energy into that at that time. But, if you're trying to juggle family and work and, find a new position at work and then manage your health and fitness and go away on holidays and travel the world, and, it just becomes overwhelming. The level that people can do things to goes from, 80, 90, 100%, depending on what their own standard is, and then they bring it back and they're doing 30% of everything, and then they wonder why they're not getting ahead in any area. So it's important to really manage your own expectations through not trying to do too much.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Awesome. And I know you work obviously a lot on kind of motivation and success and things like that. One of my girls was asking, at the moment she's got a bit of a cold, and actually I ran a health and wellness retreat last weekend. So because they worked through a lot of this kind of personal development type stuff, it brought up a lot of emotions for them, and some of them are sick, or they've got sick kids, one of them's injured, so they're feeling a bit of that, all that stuff's come up and finding it a bit hard to deal this week. So one of them was asking how would you deal when setbacks are thrown at you, like injury or sickness, and I guess there's another question in that as well, but I'll let you answer that one first.
Sure. So initially it's about, is it a short-term or a long-term thing? I'm a triathlete. I had foot surgery 2 years ago. Before the surgery, I was in one of those robo boots for about 6 to 9 months, and I realised that I couldn't be racing anymore. I basically couldn't walk around, so I couldn't train. So I needed to shift my focus out of that into something else that gave me the same, the same feeling. We all do things at the end of the day to achieve, or to feel fulfillment. If you chunk down or chunk up on everything of why people do things, why we want to be good at things, it comes back to a feeling of fulfillment or something like that. So if there's another area where that can be transferred across, if it's a long-term injury or something like that, then go and find something else that gives you the same level of significance or the same level of feeling enough in what you're doing. If it's a short-term thing, going to a retreat, emotions coming up, totally normal. Give yourself a break. Take a couple of days off. It's not gonna ruin everything. Don't blow out to 4 or 5 days, 2 weeks, 3 months. But if it's depending on their own training style, it could be just get up and go for a walk, or it could be something like that. But if it's more just emotional, that's totally normal. It's perfectly normal to feel off after you've done some personal development work, for a few days, sometimes a little bit longer for some deeper work. Give yourself a bit of a break, and then, pamper yourself a little bit, then get back on track.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. And now I've forgotten my other question. I think
maybe someone calling it in on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember now. But what would you say, or I guess staying on that motivation topic, what would you say is the way to be motivated and to be successful? In my opinion, I don't believe that people are motivated every single day of their lives, but there's a certain things you can do to obviously motivate yourself or pull yourself out of a funk as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's there's a specific, not to get too deep on this, but there's a specific strategy that we use in our bodies, with our physiology, the way that we stand, the way that we sit. You know, if somebody's determined, you know, you can tell the look on their face, you can tell the way they're standing, you can tell, you know, just by looking at them. If somebody's depressed, you can tell exactly the same thing. Now, people think, you know, this is a rabbit hole we could go down for, you know, 2 hours, but just to give you the surface level on that, people think that it's, you know, your body actually leads your mind in that, right? So you have a thought, then your body goes into that emotional state that it knows, right? So if you look at somebody, if you imagine somebody who's depressed, you know exactly what they look like, right? They'd be, you know, their posture would be slumped. They'd be sitting down or looking at the ground. In their head, they'd be ruminating. So they'd be running thoughts in their head over and over and over. For somebody who's on top of the world and motivated and you know, passionate and pumped up, you know they're going to be standing up. Look, you know, they'll be looking up, and you know their body language will be telling you the way they use their muscles in their face. It will be telling you something completely different. So you know, that's sort of an overview of that. The other way to stay motivated, I guess, is to remain focused on why you started. To be really clear on what your vision is. Okay, so what it is that you're looking to achieve. And just remain really focused on that, and you know, if it's working out, then you want to remain focused. You know, what was your goal? Is it to lose 5 kilos? Is it to run a marathon? You know, either way is totally fine. But whatever your goal and objective was, that's your motivation. You know, if you come up with a big enough why, you'll find a way to do anything. So if you come up with a big enough reason why you want to do something, then you'll absolutely find the motivation to do that, to get out of bed when it's raining, to get out of bed at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, to go and do that training session because you know you want that body. If you want something bad enough, you'll do anything for it. So, you can change your perception around things just by making new decisions and remaining focused on what that goal is.
Yeah, cool, awesome. And so I guess once people are working through something and trying to overcome these limiting beliefs that have come up for them, how do they start working on overcoming those beliefs and I guess creating new empowering ones?
Yeah, look, there's there's a specific strategy that we use as individuals to have positive beliefs and to have negative beliefs. So if somebody's strong in a particular area and you're aware that you have a limiting belief in another area, you know, can you use the same strategy that you've used to get the same outcome in the area where, you know, to get the positive outcome in the area where you're possibly unmotivated? You know, it really just comes back to understanding that, for one, your limiting beliefs are just noise inside your head. You know, they're not real thoughts. They're thoughts, but we have plenty of thoughts all day long. You know, a guy, the example I use quite often, a guy walking down the street who, you know, sees somebody who he doesn't like or fits the perception of somebody he doesn't like, they don't go and talk to that person. You know, the same, they don't go and approach that person and be confrontational, even though they may have that thought inside their head. You know, the guy walking down the street who sees a girl that he thinks is attractive, he doesn't action what his thoughts are, and this is, you know, across the board. Quite often he won't, you know, unless he's had a few beers, maybe he'll go and speak to her, but a lot of the time, you know, people don't action these thoughts. So why do we listen to the ones that hold us back? You know, why do we make a decision to listen to them and think that they're real and believe that they need to hold us back? Because they don't. You know, it's a choice to make the decision in and around that. You know, can you challenge? You know, I think in sort of more streamlined psychology, they talk about challenging the belief. That one's a bit of a tough one. I don't think that's always successful. I don't think that always works, because if you don't have a file in your mind that says I am good at this or I can do this, then you're sort of challenging, you know, you send yourself around in a circle. But, you know, you can ask yourself the question, is it true? You know, a limiting belief, maybe it's I'm not good enough, right? Ask yourself the question, well, is that true? Am I not good enough? Well, you know, who said you're not? You know, is it just your own perception? Is it something that somebody else has said? is it true in all context? You know, is it true in every aspect of your life, or is it just this one little thing? And then you can start to really isolate what's going on. But yeah, I think, you know, one of the most empowering things people can do is say, hey, you know, I've got thoughts all day long. If everybody actioned every single thought that they had, we'd be going nuts. So, you know, listen to the ones that you choose to. It's about creating your own reality, in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, I don't watch the news. I don't read the newspaper. Why? Because I don't want to. You know, there's nothing good on it. There's nothing that inspires me or motivates me. You know, people getting killed or
Yeah.
I live in my own bubble. Because I want to subject myself to for me and my clients, not because I want to watch. Have my own little pity party.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, can you touch more on that about surrounding yourself with positive people?
Yep, I can touch a lot more on that one. Your environment creates you. You know, the beliefs that you have. Every decision that we make in our lives is closely related to the people that we spend time. We spend time with those people for the most part, and it's family because we have something in common with them. Now, if you're not getting the results in your life, you need to put yourself in the environment where people actually are doing the sort of things that you do, because then you take it on. It's like those months that I talked about before. You know, if I watch a all day long and enough, then I'd be depressed. You know, if I put on news or something like that, where they talk about wars all around the world and all day, you know, if I focus on that all the time, that would be my reality. You know, if I choose to spend time with people that are positive, uplifting, going in the direction that I want to go, the direction, being a personal trainer, you know, people want to be better in spend time with you. People want to be better in another area. Somebody who's going in that direction, that can lead you and give you skills. Going to mentors. That really accelerates, I guess. You know, accelerates results. It's I can't sort of put into words. Just do it.
Yeah. You're just breaking up a little bit every few words, but I could get the gist of, like, I could understand what you're saying, so hopefully everyone else could as well. Yeah. But yeah, it totally makes sense. Like if you want to lose weight, but you're hanging around people that are eating Maccas every day and sitting watching TV, then that's going to be normal for you. If you're hanging around people that are in business and making a heap of money and helping a heap of people and getting stuff done, then you're going to want to do that as well. So.
Yeah. And people think, hopefully we don't break up anymore. They need to go and move town, or they need to move city or move country. Their reality is what they're doing. Right? If they're drinking 5 nights a week, there's also people that live next door who don't drink at all. Right? Yeah. And then the people down the road, in house next door to them, they're athletes. They're going rugby, or tennis, something like that on the weekend.
Yeah.
So. No, environment's closer than what we think. We just need to get outside what we're currently living. Quite often it's much closer to home than what we go taking 2 small steps in the right direction, and then that'll push people to where they need to go.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. And so can you talk a little bit about fear? So I guess... well, what your thoughts are on that, and I guess how to overcome it.
Yes.
Pardon?
Have you got some sort of context?
So I know from stuff that I've done with you. So I know that, well, I guess in my opinion, and I know you feel kind of the same way, is that fear is just made worse in your head. So I guess when we tell ourselves these things, or like you said before, stepping outside your comfort zone, it's going to feel so much worse in your head than what it actually is. So just getting out there and doing it, and it makes it easier, I guess.
The way to overcome fear, you know, do the thing that you feel. They say. There's so much anxiety that people load in front of things that they want to do. So much anxiety, probably too much of a chemical word. But there's so much fear that people put things that they want to do, and then when they go and do it, they realise it. One thing, how bad they made it up inside.
Yeah.
Right. So it's realising, looking at it and saying, this is true, or am I just making it, breaking it down? Is this what to do it? You know, let's say I want to. Let's say I need to lose. Somebody needs to lose 20 kilos, right? You don't need to focus on the 20 kilos. That's obviously your outcome. You know that you want to achieve. You need to know that's out there. But all you need to do is just get up day after day. If you've got up day after day for 6 months, losing a kilo a week, which maybe is manageable, maybe it's not. And it's time you'd have lost those 20 kilos. Just focus on waking up, getting out of bed, doing the thing. You know, you focus on the next breaking things down, and fear is just imagination. I mean, you can't see it, you can't touch it. So again, something that we created. You know, this is my perspective on it. Is fear real? Well, it's a feeling. Is love real? Is any other feeling that we have? It's as real as you want to make it. Once again, does it help me to believe that fear is real? Well, who knows? I don't think it does. I just think it's important that people realise. You know, one of the biggest things I did years ago to myself when I was around was somebody else. You know, and I still live today.
Sorry, what was that again?
If somebody else can do it, then like,
yep, cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
awesome.
So what a great way to pick people. If you are going to do it, and then other people will go, well, they can do it. So, no.
Yeah.
It's not about cutting people down. What's so special about this person and why so much. And when we analyse situations that way, we'll be more than happy to take the action because we realise, hey, we're not that much different.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. I guess sometimes fear is good in a way because if you weren't a bit nervous or a bit scared about doing things, then it wouldn't be that big of a deal and it wouldn't seem as exciting when you do achieve it anyway.
Yeah, there's, once again, fear is outside your comfort.
Yeah.
In the positive sense, it's okay to be nervous about. The problem comes in where it becomes debilitating and people don't take action.
Yeah.
It's totally fine to perfect. You know, let's say somebody has a song that they're singing in front of 10,000 people. Of course, you want to perfect it, so you get the best result out of it. And the best outcome from singing that. So, is it okay to put a lot of attention on things that are important? Yes. But if it's debilitating, if it's pleasing people, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah, cool. Okay, awesome. So I guess as a bit of a summary, what would you say, I guess, are the keys to kind of finding your motivation and success and I guess overcoming these things so that you can achieve all your goals and have the success you want in whatever area of your life?
To some that, I have a vision. Have a vision. Know what you want to achieve. Set goals. And just keep working towards. Um, I personally used to really goals massively high and then have to complaining how to do that, and a huge percentage of the population do exactly the same thing. They overwhelm them. They don't know how to what they need to know. So they give up and stop. You know, today I'm older and wiser, and I'm saying it's okay to make gradual progress in the direction of it doesn't have to be hitting it out of the ballpark 2 minutes, because if you got there in 20 minutes, you know, blowing yourself up in the first minute. So, you know, having goals, breaking down what it is that you want, and you know, and really working towards those on an ongoing basis. You know, committing to achieve your goals, no matter what it takes.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. So where can people find you or read more about you or the things that you kind of teach?
Well, I'm in Brisbane, so they can find me in Brisbane tonight. Look, Sydney based. You can go and check out clarkselite.com, RKSLITE.com. Or you can, if you want to grab a strategy call, use 30 minutes of my time. If you need some tips on setting goals, or what it is that's holding you back, you can go to the peakperformancemindset.com. It's the peakperformancemindset.com. Put your information in there. You'll get in touch with my assistant, and we'll set it up. And yeah, we look forward to speaking to everybody that wants to have a conversation.
Awesome. I'll share this as well around on Facebook and stuff, so I'll share those links as well that you just mentioned. Yeah, awesome. Cool. Well, thanks so much for your time today.
No worries. Thanks for having me. I've had some value and some people take action back of this, and it's been valuable for your clients as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Thanks.
Cool. See ya.